wabarakatuh. My dear students of Prep 3. Hi everyone and welcome to a new English session. Of course, if you look at this picture, you can guess what we are gonna talk about today. Yes, that's it. Today we are gonna talk about our reader for this year, Black Beauty. That's it. So, today inshallah, we are gonna deal with chapter 5 of Black Beauty. But before we start our new chapter, let's refresh our minds and remember together what had happened before in the end or at the end of the previous chapter, chapter 4. Do you remember? Okay, let me remind you. By the end of the previous chapter, chapter 4, Mr. Barry decided to sell Black Beauty. Can you remember why? Yes, because Mr. Barry found out, he discovered, he knew that his helper, his assistant, Fletcher, was a thief. He stole Black Beauty's food. So, when Fletcher was arrested by the police, Mr. Barry decided to sell Black Beauty. So, Black Beauty was taken to a market for horses, where he was sold to a new owner. Of course, then you can remember. So, today, we are gonna deal with chapter 5 of our reader, which is called The Life of a Taxi Driver. And by the way, you can find this in your student's book, page 61. So, if you like, you can open your box to follow. First, let's know something about the main characters that we will meet in this chapter. Who we will meet in chapter 5. Number 1, Jerry Barker. Jerry Barker. Who is Jerry Barker? He is the new owner of Black Beauty. He's the one who bought Black Beauty at the market. And what was his job? Jerry Barker was a taxi driver. Where? In London. Then, Jerry Barker had a family. His wife was called Polly. Jerry and Polly had 2 children, a boy and a girl. The boy was called Harry, who was 8 years old. And the girl was called Dolly, who was 12 years old. So, Jerry, Polly, Harry, and Dolly. They were a happy family, of course. Then we will meet Mr. Grant. Mr. Grant was the owner of the taxi business in London. And then you will meet Ginger. You still remember her? Yes, Ginger. She was Black Beauty's old friend. And by the end of the chapter, we will meet a new character, who was Mrs. Fowler. Mrs. Fowler was a wealthy woman. Do you know what is the meaning of wealthy? Yes, very rich, having a lot of money. So, Mrs. Fowler was a wealthy woman who lived in the country. I think now we are ready to start our new chapter, chapter 5. Okay? So, we knew now that Black Beauty had a new owner. What was he called? Yes, Jerry Barker. So, From the first moment, Black Beauty knew, felt, realized that Mr. Jerry Barker was a good man. He was a kind one. How? Let's see. At the market, before Jerry bowed Black Beauty, he felt his legs gently and his paw softly. And before he first rode Black Beauty, he gave him some food to eat. What a kind man. He was so kind. So, Jerry Barker took Black Beauty on a very long journey until they finally reached Jerry's house in London. When they reached there, Jerry's family came out to say the new house. So, the first one was, yes, Dolly, the girl. What did she say? She said, is he gentle, father? That was Dolly, the little girl. So the father said, yes, he's as gentle as you are. Come and say hello. That was Jerry Barker. And then Polly and Dolly came out to see Black Beauty. And you know what? Polly was as kind as her husband, Jerry. She was a kind woman. How do you know? Let's see. When she first saw Black Beauty, she said, what? Let me get him some food and water. That's it. She's so kind. Polly and Jerry cared about Black Beauty. And then Black Beauty was taken to rest in a comfortable stable. You know, at that moment, Black Beauty thought that he would be happy there. Can you guess why? That's a critical thinking question. How do you think that, or why do you think that Black Beauty thought that he would be happy at Jerry's house? The answer was easy. Yes. Jerry and Polly, they were both kind to him. They treated him very well. They cared about him. So, Jerry owned a taxi carriage. You know what's a taxi carriage? You will see it right now. And another horse called Captain. In the next morning, Captain went out with the taxi carriage first. Then it was my turn in the afternoon. Look here, another critical thinking question. Why do you think Jerry Barker took Captain first in the morning, then he took Black Beauty in the afternoon? Yes, that's it. He was so gentle. Perhaps he wanted to get Black Beauty time and chance to rest, to relax, to get used to the place. Okay? So I think he was so kind. And of course you agree with me. Then what happened then? So Jerry was a good man, kind man. Number two, Jerry was a good driver too. Why? Because he drove Black Beauty so carefully in the streets of London, among all carriages, with a light pull of the reins. Do you remember reins? Yes, that's it, with a light pull of the reins. So he was a good taxi driver too. In the afternoon, Jerry Barker took Black Beauty to a wide street in London where there were many taxi carriages and taxi drivers. Then one of the taxi drivers said, "That's it." When he saw Black Beauty for the first time, he said, "He's too handsome to pull a taxi." Then a tall man came and looked at Black Beauty carefully and said, "Yes, that's it. He's a good horse. He will do well for you, Jerry." This man was Mr. Grant. You remember Mr. Grant? Yes, the owner of taxi business in London. So, what do you think, why do you think that Mr. Grant said that about Black Beauty? Perhaps he noticed how beautiful it is, how handsome it is, and he knew very well that he was healthy enough so that he can do well in pulling the taxi, right? Okay, now a very, very, very important question for you. How do you think Black Beauty's life in London was? Or what kind of life did he have? Or was it easy or not? Was it comfortable or not? Actually, Black Beauty's life in London wasn't easy at all, especially at the beginning. It was difficult and hard. You know why? Because for Black Beauty, it wasn't easy to pull a taxi in the streets of London. Why? Because in London there was too much noise. In London there were many, many people. In London there were many, many carriages. So it was difficult for Black Beauty to find his way among all these carriages. So his life wasn't easy. But after some time, Black Beauty stopped worrying. You know why? Because Black Beauty started to trust Jerry Barker. You know what the meaning of trust? Trust is a verb. It means to think that or to believe that someone was good, honest, and he won't hurt you or harm you. So, Jerry Barker was a trusted man. Black Beauty trusted him, and he knew that he wouldn't harm him at all. So after that, it was getting easier and easier. Then, let's go back to Harry. You still remember Harry? Yes, Harry. He was Jerry's son. Harry was so helpful. How? What did he do? Each single day, after finishing the work, Harry always helped to look after Black Beauty. He gave him food, he cleaned him, he gave him some water, etc. And what about Polly and Dolly? Yes, Polly and Dolly too. What did they do? They always came to see Black Beauty. You know, they were so good family. Okay. Now, we all realized that Jerry Barker was the best owner that BlackBerry had ever had. You agree with me? Of course you agree. Let's move on. Now, as a taxi driver, Jerry met different types of passengers. And he wasn't always happy with them. How? Let's find out. One day, while Jerry Barker and Black Beauty were waiting in the streets of London, two young men came out of a hotel driver, we're late for our train. Go as quickly as you can so we can catch the 1 o'clock train. And we will give you an extra pound, said one of them. Who said that? One of the 2 young men who came outside of a hotel. So what was Jerry Barker's reply? What did he say? He said, I will take you, but only at our usual speed. You know what the meaning of speed? Speed means fast movement, okay? So at that time, another taxi driver said, I'll go fast for you. He wants to go fast because he loves his horse. The 2 men laughed and jumped into the other taxi. Now, critical questions for you. Do you think that Jerry Barker was right not to let the 2 young men came into the carriage or not? I think he was quite right. That's it. By the way, this is the taxi carriage. Okay? So, our question was, do you think that Jerry was right not to take the 2 young men or not? And why? I think he was quite right not to take them. Because Jerry Barker cared more about his horse. He loved Black Beauty. He didn't want to hurt him or harm him. To make sure, that was the answer. I must always think about my horse. A pound won't help if it makes my horse too tired to take another or other passengers for the rest of the day. So that was how Jerry Barker thought. He was kind and a wise man, by the way. So let's move on. Can you see this? Big title saying no holidays. No holidays. For who? For taxi drivers in London. But why? Why didn't they have holidays? Number 1, because taxi drivers in London didn't own their horses. Number 8, they hired them. So each single day they had to pay the owners of the horses. Number 2, they had to work very long hours to get enough money. This means that they worked 7 days a week. They worked all the time to get enough money to pay for the owners of the horses. That's it. So, in fact, Black Beauty felt very sorry for both taxi drivers and horses. And me too, I felt sorry for them. They deserve. Then, happy surprise! One day, Black Beauty had a very happy surprise. What was it? I'll tell you. One day, while Black Beauty and Jerry Barker were standing outside a park, waiting for a family to take it home, another carriage arrived. Black Beauty looked at the horse. The horse looked very old. It looked very thin. It had sad eyes. The horse looked at Black Beauty and said, Black Beauty? And then she started to cough. You know who was that horse? Yes, it was poor Ginger. Is that you, Ginger? Yes. Then Ginger started to tell Black Beauty all about her life since they were sold by ill men. Ginger told the Black Beauty that she was bought by a very wealthy man. But because she was weak and because she couldn't run fast after the fall, then this wealthy man had to sell Ginger. So Ginger was sold again and again and again. Many times she had many owners, and each time they paid less money for her. Can you tell me why? Of course, yes. Because Ginger was getting old. Ginger wasn't strong enough. She was getting weak. She was getting thinner, so she couldn't run fast. Finally, Ginger was bought by a man who had many taxi carriages, and he hired them for taxi drivers. So what did Ginger tell Black Beauty about her present? She said that I was bought by a man who has many horses and hired them to men who need them for taxi carriages. She continued, but I'm not strong enough for this work. The men hit me hard when they want me to go faster. I work every day without any break. Then Black Beauty reminded her, you usually kick people who aren't good to you. I reminded her. But do you think that Ginger could kick now? No, she couldn't. I'm not strong enough to do that now, she said. Men are all stronger than me. If they can get me to work longer hours for more money, they will. I know life is difficult for them too. They all will think about their families before they worry about their horses. At that time, a man get out, took the carriage, and he drove Ginger again. And you know what? Black Beauty had never seen Ginger again. So we have to stop right now, and we will complete this chapter in the next period. So I'd like to thank you so much, and I hope you will enjoy this lesson as much as I did. Thank you, and see you.